My number one goal was to scare the heck out of one person. I wanted to make the scariest game. You know, you have to go in and go, I want to make the scariest game ever. Right? You don't go in and say, I want to make the third scariest. But I also wanted a game that was exactly what I wanted to make. You know, I had made a lot of games that people wanted me to make, and I was happy doing them because making video games. But this one, I wanted to really make my creative side just really happy. And so I think you can see it in the end product. It was just really a handcrafted game.
So, Dead Space. Some of you might hear this name and feel, well, nothing. And why should you, right? Well, whether you're a depressed teenage gamer in his 20s or a 12-year-old who still plays Fortnite for some reason, I would like for you to trust me and follow me on this journey as I try my best to show you why. And who knows, maybe at the end of it you'll come to love and hate this franchise as much as I do. So, where should I start? The Dead Space trilogy was created by Visceral Games, an American video game developer studio owned by EA, or as I like to call them, retards. However, this company didn't always go by that name. They were actually called Redwood Shore Studios and made some pretty decent games like The Simpsons game and The Godfather, as well as some not so good ones. Anyway, the renaming wasn't something that happened because it just sounded cooler. Visceral Games had rebranded, and their focus had completely changed after they had created something that was different than anything they had ever done before. Something that, in the words of the game's creator and developer Glenn Scottfield, would be the most terrifying game they could acquire. That game was Dead Space. But that's enough context. What's the game all about? Well... This is what it's about. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take it back to the start.
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. It's strange. Such a little thing.
How many times you watched that thing?
Dead Space starts with a pre-recorded video from your girlfriend Nicole, who is inside the USG Ishimura, a Planet Cracker class ship with immense size and the ability to use space technology for large-scale commercial and deep space expeditions. The space technology consisted of using huge gravity tethers to lock onto an asteroid and just yoink it right into the ship for harvesting precious and valuable minerals. And because of this, the ship was considered a symbol of mankind's innovation. On top of that, it also had a very rich medical research vessel dedicated to viruses, toxins, and genetics. So why are you here? Well, besides the video call from your girlfriend, the ship has sent a distress call and seems to be having some technical problems. So it's up to you, Isaac Clarke, and your group of Rick and Morty binge watchers to find out what happened. After some minor bumps in your landing, you manage to get inside the ship and the game starts. Quick mini Easter egg, by the way, you can look around after landing and see Isaac's face. It's a clean face, the face of an engineer that is unharmed by the horrors to come. So take a good look at it before saying goodbye for the next 8 hours. Also, that bar filling up, that's your health bar. Yep. And some of you might say,
whoa, what?
That's your health bar? No red bar at the corner of the screen? No 2D sprites that cover the whole screen when you get hit? And yes, you would be right. And after this, you might also be a bunch of connected paths and edges designed as a puzzle, because you, my friend, are amazed. Anyways, after opening the door and getting inside the Ishimura, you quickly find out two things. The first one is that the ship is more damaged than Jake Paul's career. And the second thing is that you're not alone here.
What the hell was that?
Automatic quarantine must have tripped when the filtration system restarted. Everybody relax.
What was that? Did you hear that?
Not sure.
What the hell? I don't know. Something's in the room with us.
Jesus! Overfire! Overfire! Trigger! Power! Trigger!
Come on. Come on. Got it!
Tiger! Get the hell out of there!
The door's unlocked!
These are necromorphs, and I'll talk more about them as the video continues. All you have to know for now is that they're horrifying deformations of previous humans, and they want you dead at all costs.
You want penis enlargement pills?
You get your first gun shortly after being attacked, and can start getting your revenge on these things for mentally scarring you for life immediately. Now that we're on this topic, let's talk about the way you deal with these monsters. It's great. In fact, to this day, Dead Space still has, in my opinion, one of the best shooting mechanisms ever made. These aren't zombies or humans. Shooting them in the head won't do anything. You have to go for the limbs, cut their arms and legs off until they are literally powerless and die.
This is Benson, Tram Engineering. We think we figured it out. Smith killed one. Listen, forget about shooting him in the body. You gotta cut off the limbs. Grab a cutter, anything like that. Cut him apart.
I love this. Almost every game nowadays is about aiming for the head and shooting a couple of bullets before moving to the next enemy. This way of killing is so refreshing, and it adds so much fun and depth to something that usually becomes mundane in other games. It allows the game to throw less enemies at you, but also make you think about every time you shoot. For now. The guns are also pretty satisfying to use, and they all feel like they serve a purpose, even though you can easily go through the whole game with just a starting plasma cutter because of how well it works for dealing with the enemies. The flamethrower, force gun, and contact gun are all great at dealing with multiple enemies without really dismembering them. The Ripper is good at consistent damage, the line gun sends massive waves that can easily cut off both legs or arms of a necromorph, and the pulse rifle is good at everything.
No need to shout, no need to yell, no need to have a riot. Shut your eyes, take a deep breath. Oh, you've gone all quiet.
These guns also have a secondary mode that can be pretty useful, like the pulse rifle, who can help you when you're surrounded or in a tight spot by shooting everything around you after a short cast time. The plasma cutter can change its tip so you can shoot vertically and horizontally. The tools are all there, and it's up to you how you want to use them. Now that that's over, back to the story. Bruh. After finding your boy Hammond and your girl Kendra, you spectate them having a small fight, showing that they're clearly not dealing with the situation well.
What the hell are those things? Is that the crew?
Keep your voice down. Whatever they are, they're not friendly, and half the doors on this ship are locked because of the quarantine. Now, we have to get to the bridge, but first, we gotta repair the tram system.
You're crazy, Hammond. You're gonna get us all killed.
If you listen to me, I will get you out of here alive. Now, what's wrong with the tram?
They clearly weren't fond of one another before, but it's really showing now. Meanwhile, our mute protagonist Isaac is just vibing, not showing any emotion, something that will annoy you for a lot of scenes unless you like being the NPCs from Oblivion.
Coming up, you pathetic. What's the matter? Getting tired?
After calming down, Hammond tells you to get the transportation system working so they can maneuver around the ship. As you make your way there, the game decides that it's time to teach you an important lesson about itself. Never let your guard down. Yeah, I know that playing dead isn't something new, but they pulled it off really well. And after this moment, you will never stop looking at corpses. They can even play dead after you shoot some of their limbs off and attack again when you get close. It's really cool, and when you're not paying attention, it can really make you jump. A bit of exploring later, you get hit with this creepy ass sound. And shortly after you find the stasis module, an equipment that allows you to slow down everything from fast closing doors to necromorphs hungry for those sweet body parts. You get into the repair room and you start noticing another important thing about these creatures, that being that they're not actually using doors. They're moving through the vents. It's a small detail that once again changes the normal gameplay we are used to see, and it's something that can set up tension extremely well. It can also really catch you off guard sometimes and make the player constantly have to be watching his back and checking his surroundings. Take this scenario for example. I'm in a room that I can't leave for a couple of minutes. Everything seems to be going fine until our little friends decide to pay a visit, and everything goes dark. There's also about 3 vents in this room. Let's see what happens. I really like this scene. It keeps you at the edge of your seat, and my only complaint is that it ends too quickly, which is an overall problem with the game if I'm being honest. It hits you with that quick adrenaline rush and then straight back to the creepy ambience. It never truly allows for moments of dread. It instead focuses on a more action horror of things, which can be seen as a good or a bad thing depending on the person playing it. After using your stasis to fix the tram system, you make your way to the data board and get met with this guy. This is another type of necromorph that you get to fight quickly after seeing him, and it goes by the name Leaper. You'll see why in a bit. You take care of him, as well as some other necromorphs, and after a short elevator ride, you find the data board, who's in the same room as the bench, an upgrade system for your weapons that works in a interesting way. There's no leveling up system. Instead, there's these power nodes scattered around the Ishimura, and you can use them to slowly complete paths that will give you better stats for your weapons, health bar, stasis, and other things down the line. It's completely up to you to decide what you want to upgrade and what route you want to take to do so. For example, if you want, you can focus on upgrading your health without ever having to put a single point into your oxygen. You can also only get damage slots on the plasma cutter, duration time on your stasis, and so on. It gives the player a great sense of choice, and also commitment, since there's no turning back after you upgrade something. After using your first power node and making it out of the room, Kendra calls you and tells you to use the data board on the same place where you talked to them a while ago.
That's it, Isaac. Take the board back to tram control and slot it into the computer array. That should get the tram system back online.
You make your way back to her and Hammond and turn the tram system on. They have another fight and tell you that the next thing to do is to prepare the ship you came in for launch and wait for them there.
Isaac, get back to the Kellion and prep it for launch. We'll find out what we can from the bridge and meet you there.
If we live that long, you're out of your league, Hammond. This is suicide. We're going to die out here.
Your lack of confidence in me is duly noted, Miss Daniels. But I have a mission to complete, and that's exactly what I am going to do, with or without you. Do we understand each other?
Just get us out of here alive.
You get into the ship and everything goes exactly like planned. Until it doesn't. I bet most of you were probably more focused on that hand than the fucking explosion, weren't you? Apparently these meat lizards can't keep their dicks out of the engines. They can also do this. After killing them off, you get a video from your friends talking to you about what just happened. And of course, they're not happy.
That was our ride home. It's the only way off the ship.
Kendra.
No, Hammond! This changes everything!
Just let me think. Can you access the command computer?
It's no good. There's an executive lockdown of all primary systems. Without the captain's authorization, I can't access them.
Well, where's the captain?
Here he is. Captain Benjamin Matthias. Location, med lab. Status, deceased.
What? How?
I can't access that information. Find the captain and you'll find his rig. With his authorization codes, I can crack this computer wide open.
Damn it. Isaac, I'm sending the tram back to your location. Get to the medical deck and find that rig as fast as you can.
What was that?
The group all splits up after this and Kendra seems to disappear. While making your way to the tram, you manage to come across a shop. Now, these shops are both one of the coolest and worst parts of this game. They're bad because they're literally everywhere, and I'm not exaggerating. Sometimes you can enter a door, go to the shop, buy your stuff, complete the chapter, and there will be another store waiting for you in the next fucking room. There are some places in the game where you will need to come back multiple times, so having a store there is a good thing. And I can understand that you can't go back to previous chapters because all of them are its own little map. But when they are this goddamn close to each other, it's not only annoying, it also takes the urgency or stress about when the next store is gonna appear, which can severely ruin the experience at some points. Although, besides this problem, the shops are great. You can buy new weapons and better med packs from blueprints you find around the ship. You can find semiconductors ranging from gold, ruby, and diamond, which sell for a high price. And you can buy ammo and power nodes for your guns. Okay, now that the boring part is done, let's get to the real reason you want to go to these shops. The suits. So yeah, the suits are great. More armor, more inventory slots, and it's just really satisfying when you manage to get enough money to do it. Another fun fact, Isaac's name tag can be seen in his first suit. It's pretty neat. Anyway, after upgrading your suit for the first time and using the rest of the money to get the pulse rifle, the only weapon that matters, you get on the tram and start chapter 2, where you get taken to the medical deck and find crazy bitch number 1.
He's here. Nothing to be afraid of. I knew you would come. Just like you said. I saved this for you. Can I go now? God wants to take me.
With this, you find your third and last thing to help you get around this ship. And with that, I think it's time to talk about the HUD and the equipment. Dead Space's HUD is probably one of the most creative and unique HUDs in gaming, which is pretty ironic because it's also not existent. There's a lot of good and bad things about this trilogy, and obviously I'm gonna try and cover all of them as much as I can. But for this game in particular, if Isaac's motionless expression while human beings die in horrible ways in front of him is one of the weakest points, then the genius and immersive HUD system is easily one of the strongest. I talked about it briefly before, but your health bar isn't just a separate red bar on a corner, or a constant red blood splat on your screen until you heal up. It's actually a part of your character and everyone else's in the game. But it's not just your health bar. The ammunition displayed on your gun, Isaac following the item that you're currently hovering over in the inventory, the actual existence of that inventory and the holographic screen that gives you video calls, it all works beautifully to immerse the player in this futuristic world. The equipment you have and get is also pretty great. Slowing down necromorphs is incredibly fun and helpful for when you're stuck in a corner. You can use the kinesis module for pulling, carrying, and throwing things, those being supplies, energy boxes, or anything in general. If it's not tethered to the environment, you can yank it. And finally we have the locator. The name speaks for itself, honestly. You hold the button and it tells you where to go. All of the equipments are simple but at the same time really smart. It's all in the service of the person playing the game without compromising any gameplay. Both the stasis and the kinesis come from Isaac's left hand, and since your character is always looking over his right shoulder, your left hand will never ruin a battle or a scene. A complaint that I do have though is about the reloading system. For God knows what reason, you need to either stand still and press the reload button or fire when you're out of ammo for Isaac to actually reload the gun you're carrying. It is true that this game forces you to stand still and actually aim before you shoot, but when you're fighting something like this, and you see that number on your gun go down to 0, that's where the real horror comes in. After getting your kinesis, you enter the lab of shit texters and you get attacked by the necromorphs. By the way, if you're wondering why I know the name of these horrifying things, well, that's because the game tells you.
I finally convinced Jurgens to show me the video feed from the colony. And what I saw was glorious, breathtaking. Miners undergoing a transformation into something extraordinary. I must know more. Even as the believer within me wants to become one of them, the scientist needs to uncover their secrets. I need to study one of these necromorphs, as Kyne so clinically puts it. I need to witness this infection firsthand. Perhaps that patient from the colony.
That was Dr. Kalis Menser. Remember that name because it's gonna be important later. Anyway, shortly after listening to that audio log, you get into this weird green-lit area and...
Come on! Come on! Let me out!
That is a lurker. A baby necromorph that can walk on walls and has 3 tentacles on its back that are both its weapon and weak point. It can also be used as a football.
Oh my god, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal!
On a serious note though, this is one of the most amazing places in this game, where the story happens to get told by the room itself, and not by a huge exposition dump. You can see the babies in these small incubators and multiple posters on the walls showing that the ship was also populating and studying not only pregnancy, but necromorphs as well. You can even see a list of newborns further on, and it really makes you think about which one of these got transformed, died, or even both. One of these lurkers actually jump scares the player from an incubator, solidifying the fact that these babies have been infected somehow. Also, that animation that you saw was one of the many existent ones in the game. It happens when a necromorph gets close enough to you to perform a grab, and to beat it, well, you have to use all of your gaming skill. All of the hours you spent on gaming with the boys, all of the time you used on playing League of Legends, Warzone, Rainbow Six Siege, Undertale, Celeste, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Breath of the Wild, God of War, Sekiro, Shovel Knight, and Animal Crossing. You are a gamer. And you will fulfill your destiny as one and perform the ultimate task to save this engineer from his gruesome demise. No matter the cost. Now go and prove your worth. Anyway, a bit after that, you turn the corner to find this guy. Man, the first 2 hours of Last of Us 2 really got to some people, didn't it?
Stop, you fucking ogre.
Stop!
Shortly after that, you enter a room and you get met with a choice. You have 1 power node and there's a bench to your right and a room needing a power node to your left. These rooms are scattered around the Ishimura and can contain anything from ammo, health, more power nodes, or an audio log from a guy that sounds like every cult member ever.
You found something down there, didn't you?
Yes, we found something.
So the texts were right all this time.
I wouldn't be certain of that. There was nothing divine in what I saw.
We must embrace this. We are the first witnesses.
Matthias isn't letting anyone down in the colony. It's under quarantine until we learn more. To hell with Matthias. He of all people should know that this is greater than him, or the operation, or even the company. This is our deliverance. Keep your damn voice down. People are dying down there. Only the worthless and the unbelievers. But I believe. Do you believe, Terrence? Do you?
Anyway, you push some big cylinder with a corpse inside it because this is a spooky game, and then enter a wrecked part of the ship with no oxygen. This is actually one of the prettiest places in the game, and it's kinda sad that they don't show more of it. You get to see a part of the USG Shimura with the name slapped on it, and a beautiful view of the planet with a gigantic hole on it, because of the exploration done by the ship. There's also no sound in the vacuum of space, and the game cleverly uses that fact to surprise you with a silent necromorph. And I'm not gonna lie, when this first happened, I kinda jumped. Immediately after this scene, you enter zero gravity for the first time, and, well, it's pretty shitty to be honest. Seeing Isaac fly and twirl around like a ballerina is pretty cool, but besides that, it's not really that interesting. The camera goes all wonky when you land, and it makes it pretty hard to understand where you are sometimes. Luckily, Visceral Games noticed this and made sure to improve it in the sequel. You get a thermite bomb so you can open up a path to the morgue and find a video log on the ground. You pick it up and...
This is Senior Medical Officer Nicole Brennan transmitting ship-wide. We need more help. We don't have the resources to deal with this many cases. Nobody would tell us what's happening. These wounds, we are not equipped to deal with this. Get him to the table. Hold him. Nurse, you hold him down. And record him.
That was Nicole, right? I can't tell from here when that log was made. I'm sure she's around here somewhere.
On top of seeing a clip from Nicole, you get to see the madness and sickness of the passenger in the ship start to show more and more. The room you were in half an hour ago, and the one you enter shortly after, enforces this even more. There's writing on the walls from people who are slowly losing their minds to whatever is happening, and something by the name Marker is constantly being mentioned, along with the symbol of a spiked figure here and there. Some of these are pretty funny to read though. And if you thought that was disturbing, well, after killing some more of the crew, you get met with this. All of these things happen in about 15 minutes or even less since the start of the chapter, and you can feel it's building up to something. As you take the elevator to the morgue, you find an audio log and... I'm just gonna let this scene play out.
Officer Dr. Kine reporting. The colony's problems concern me greatly. I have no doubt they are somehow linked to the discovery of the marker, but the exact nature of that connection is still unknown. Almost 40% of the colonists are experiencing a form of dementia. The obvious symptoms are acute depression, insomnia, and hallucination. Incidents of violence and even murder also indicate extreme paranoia. Dr. Mercer has advised that I bring some of the affected on board for study. Dr. Wellen, the planet-side psychiatrist, has reported that his own analysis has been fruitless. I'm hesitant to rely on Dr. Mercer at this point, but I need his expertise. We need solutions, and we need them quickly.
That is the Infector, a ray-like necromorph that, as the name suggests, can infect human bodies that are alive and transform them into basic necromorphs. There's always a couple of bodies when this fucker appears, so make sure to take care of them before starting to load bullets on the others. Unlike the majority of necromorphs you fight in this game, this one also doesn't look like a human at all, and the reason for it is explained at the end of chapter 2 after you collect the codes.
Codes received, and they look good. Thank God. I'll start accessing the captain's records right now. Head to the tram station, and I'll contact you there. I'm going to find out what the hell happened to this ship.
Now, before that, here's an Infector having a stroke.
I found the deck logs. Whatever is happening around here, it came from the planet when they cracked it open. It spread to the colony and reached the ship. Isaac, this isn't an infection. It's some form of alien life. Shit, we've got bigger problems. The ship's engines are offline and our orbit is decaying. Get over to the engineering deck ASAP while I stay here and figure out what the problem is.
Yeah, I guess that was expected. I mean, the Dead Space trilogy, especially in the first one, is surprisingly realistic for the insane world it's presenting, with incubation centers, a sports section, a medical ward, a train that takes you around the ship, and other stuff that you will see as the video goes on. They put a lot of care and thought into these places, and you can really tell once you stop and think about it. So I guess it's only natural for them to explain that this isn't just some infection that magically turned the human into a 2-feet ray.
Baba Booey.
So we got an alien race by the name of Necromorphs that invaded a ship with over 1,000 people inside because a marker from another planet that turned and is turning people insane, while the Necromorphs themselves are slaughtering everyone and turning their bodies into their own kind. Meh, still better than the American stores during the Black Lives Matter movement.
I'm not gonna stand here and listen to you badmouth the greatest democracy the world has ever known. Raindrops are falling on my head.
You get into the tram, chapter 3 starts, and Hammond needs you to do some stuff, so he calls you.
You've got two problems, and we're working on borrowed time here. First, there's no fuel in the engines. Second, the gravity centrifuge is offline, which means there's a couple of trillion tons of rock pulling us down. I need you to get that centrifuge operational. Refuel the main engine and fire it up so I can stabilize the ship's orbit.
So it seems like you're gonna have some work to do, but before that, there's another character that needs an introduction.
Personal log. Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. It's been 2 days since they pulled that planet open, since the captain died. The panic, the riots, they were nothing compared with what came after. Our friends, our co-workers, started coming back. Changed, coming back to kill us, drag us away. Rucker disappeared this morning, and I have to assume he's dead. My crew, they're starting to crack. I'm trying to keep an eye on them, but right now I have bigger problems. We're hemorrhaging fuel, and the primary engine is laboring. Danvers and I are going to try to reach the fuel depot to see if we can fix it. Temple out.
Temple is probably one of, if not the only character that has multiple dialogues throughout the ship, documenting what he's going through since the start of it all. And as everyone in the ship, you assume he's probably dead. He does give some nice extra storyline though, like the death of the ship's captain and the riots that it caused. But I'll come back to Temple in a second. I need to talk about this. While I was making the script for this game, I was watching myself go to the bench and upgrade some stuff, and as I read a text log, I noticed that the game is actually whispering in my ear. This happens during quiet moments of the game, and I not only regret not having my sound louder, but I also recommend everyone watching and planning to play this game to do so. And I think this is a great scene to stop on and talk about this game's sound design.
Exiting vacuum.
Sound design is something that I really enjoy in video games, and Dead Space does a fantastic job in making everything sound not only futuristic, but also terrifying. The clanking and echoing of your feet while you walk in a quieter place, the sounds of your modules when you use them. Jesus, even opening a door sounds great. The Necromorphs sound like abominations that want to rip your insides out, and even though they do look human, the sounds they make are far from one. The guns have a good punch to them, and they don't have that stupid childish laser sound. Isaac himself has little lines, but they never feel unnecessary or off-putting. And everything around the Ishimura just sounds right and never takes you out of the whole aesthetic of the game. A great example of this is when you're in an area with no oxygen. Isaac's breathing will get quicker and more spastic the lower you are on it. This type of detail is what made this game get multiple awards in sound design, but the music of it is also deserving of some praise, especially when you're in the middle of a shootout with some necromorphs.
Can't escape from crossing fate! Fight!
All of this adds to a creepy experience that doesn't let go from start to finish, and it's by far one of the best things about this game. Talking about creepy, check this part out. This moment is just great. Not because of the lighting or the sound design or anything like that, but just because it does something that I believe only the best games can pull off. And it does it consistently. I like to call it the oh shit moment. It's a moment in a certain part of the game that fills you with dread, but also excitement for what you're about to face. The best example I can think of is the Soul series, when you enter these gigantic rooms and just see an insanely powerful creature that just radiates an aura of I'm kicking your ass for hours. After taking care of some necromorphs, you find another audio log from Temple. Apparently he's found a new crazy friend, which is good?
Never should have let him live. Never should have let him live.
Shut it, Danvers. Shut it. Engineering log. Temple reporting. Someone has shut off the fuel lines to the primary engine and damaged the valves in the process. They need to be repaired before I can reopen them, but we're running out of time. With the engine offline, orbit decay will begin in less than 10 hours. I just can't understand who would do this. If it's one of those crazy unitologist bastards, I'll break their neck. Shut up, Danvers! Help me with the tools. Temple out.
Anyway, shortly after, you get the fuel running and Hammond calls you to tell you that the orbit can now be restored once you turn on the engines. He also seems to get startled by something, but he quickly shrugs it off.
The fuel reading. It's only a quarter full, but that's enough to restore orbit once you bring the engines online. False alarm. Thought I saw something.
Shortly after that, you take this big ass elevator and there's another audio from Temple, telling you that the centrifuge is what balances the ship, and it's also stopping it from collapsing into the natural Death Star.
This is Temple. Now the centrifuge is offline. We've got 4 trillion tons of rock hanging off our ass, and without that centrifuge to balance the ship, the gravity tethers will pull us straight down to the colony. I'm heading in there now to see if I can fix it.
After that, you make some incisions on some necromorphs in the detox room I've mentioned before, and a couple of rooms after that, you get to the centrifuge, and have to use your stasis and kinesis module to fix it. You also fight some necromorphs. After activating the centrifuge, you get another beautiful view of space and Aegis 7. You also have to deal with this shit. It's not that hard, to be honest, I'm just bad. Either way, you get out of there, make a quick save, and start making your way to the engine room when suddenly... This is one of the scariest scenes in the game according to a lot of people, and even though I can't really agree with it, I can see why that would be the case. You get flipped on your back and you're put into an uncomfortable position, which can be felt while controlling your gun and shooting this thing that is slowly dragging you to your death. There's a really good video on the channel Ars Technica. Fuck you. With the creator and director of the game Glenn Scottfield talking about this scene and how incredibly hard and complicated it was to make.
This was a problem that was so big and so hairy for us that it kind of stopped us in our tracks for a month. Tentacle was meant to be a medium moment. Well, medium thing within the game, we're going to do it once. A tentacle comes out, grabs you, and then pulls you down on the ground, and then you die if you get caught by it. But as we're getting into it, we're realizing that no, Isaac would want to shoot. He would want to be on the ground and pulled and shoot. That wasn't just about animation, that was about technology. Finding the target and being able to wrap around, grab the leg by the ankle, which is what we wanted. So we had to create this tentacle that kind of figured out where you were. We had to create falling on my back, and we get the sounds for it, all this stuff. Went through the lists. Okay, animators, you're going to be animating the thing, come and grab. You guys are building the jag tentacle. Okay, you know what it's got to do. It's got to be animated and grab the foot. And everybody had their list of things to do. I went away for a few days on business trip. When I came back, nothing was working. But they're like, Glenn, we did everything you asked, but it's a mess. And I'm looking at it going, yeah, it is. You know, it is. After just kind of making a whole bunch of mistakes for a couple of weeks, we realized there's got to be a better way.
I really recommend you watching the rest of the video if you're interested. Glenn talks about the sound design, the death scenes, the concept of dismemberment. You can really tell that he was very passionate about this game, and he really wanted to make it an experience like no other. You make your way back to the big-ass elevator, and Kendra returns with some information about the marker.
Isaac, can you hear me? It's Kendra. They attacked me, I ran for it, and Hammond he just disappeared.
Kendra? Where are you?
Nice to see you're alive and well, Hammond. I've barricaded myself in the computer core. I can hear them moving outside, but I don't think they know I'm in here. I can launch into everything from here. I hacked the route and found some reports from the colony. Even before they cracked the planet, the colonists were experiencing widespread dementia. It seems to be related to some artifact they found on the planet. Something called the marker. I'll keep looking. I've got your location, and I'm going to unlock the door to fuel storage. You can get to the engine chamber from there.
The marker was found and brought to the ship before they even opened up the planet, and it's apparently an artifact. The rest we already know, because the game has repeated it like 9 times already, like it's a James Charles video or something.
Oh, almost forgot. On top of the sister collection. Literally, almost forgot.
Now, this is
Baba Booey. While making it to the engine room, you get to fly a bit, walk through some goopy human flesh, and listen to another audio log from Temple. He couldn't fix the engine, so he just decided to bail off the ship with what you can assume is his wife or daughter.
This is Temple. Screw the engine. I can't restart it by myself, and with all the other shit going on, it's obvious this is sabotage. I'm heading for the bridge, and then I need to find Elizabeth. I gotta get her off this ship, it's not safe.
You also get jump scared by smoke from Rainbow Six Siege and find whatever the fuck this is. As you get closer, the game gives you a hint for what you're about to fight by throwing these new enemies by the name of Swarmers at you, and well, they just look like fidget spinners, to be honest.
Guys, if I win this alien spaceship fidget spinner on this Thanos hand for 5 seconds, you guys have to smash the like button. Dear guys, let's do this.
You finally reach the engine room, and it's a pretty cool place. Not because of the view, but because of the spine-chilling moment that you get when you open this huge door and see all the necromorphs roaming around the room with one dragging what it seems to be a passenger or a worker. It's just great.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Scares here.
That is the pregnant necromorph, and the name explains pretty much everything by itself. It's a pretty generic necromorph, with the difference being its belly, which if shot at while it's alive, will let out what's inside of it to come out and attack you. This normally consists of the swarmers, but lurkers can sometimes come out of it as well. It's a really cool idea for an enemy in my opinion, and it forces a gameplay style that I really enjoy. One enemy by himself in this game is not really that hard to defeat, even in the hardest difficulties. But together they can really create a challenge. The pregnant necromorph is fairly easy since it walks pretty slowly compared to the other enemies, and it just requires you to focus your aim on the arms and legs and heads of the creature. But combined with the sprinter necromorphs trying to get on top of you and making you shoot frantically, suddenly killing Fat Albert over here becomes a lot harder. You activate the engine, Hammond calls you, and everything seems to be going great.
It's working. We're online and functional. Finally, some good news. Get a tram to the bridge, Isaac. I'm gonna take us back into a geostation.
Wait, we're not safe yet. Ship's asteroid defense system is offline. On the way up, the ship's going to pass through a debris field thrown up from the planet crack. We'll be ripped to pieces unless you restart it.
God damn it. I'll start working on it from here. Isaac, meet me at the bridge. You can do more good here than I can.
Isaac, where are you? It's me, Nicole.
Okay, so everything is not great. Also, your girlfriend seems to be alive somehow. Well, time to completely ignore her, make your way to the train, start chapter 4, get some popcorn, and watch the tea being steered.
Isaac, come in. Kendra's right. The ADS is completely shut. I'll need your help to fix this. Kendra, if you can hear me, see if you can get to the ship's reports. It sounds like you have better access from there.
When were you going to tell us about the artifact, Hammond? This marker?
I don't know anything about that. It's referenced in the captain's records. They brought it up from the planet.
It's on the ship?
In cargo. They think it's of alien origin, but I don't know what the hell it is.
Really? CEC didn't know anything about it. You're lying.
Back up! I am not the bad guy here. Ross shake you right now, you're gonna have to trust that I don't know anything about it. We've entered the debris field. Get to the captain's nest. I'll explain everything later. Hammer down.
That's some good fucking tea. Now back to jump scares.
I'm making fucking mac and cheese, and nobody can stop!
You enter the atrium looking for the captain's nest where Hammond is located, and as soon as you open the door, you realize that this place is nothing short of amazing.
Warning. Hull breach detected.
It's an open-up room with gigantic windows that allow you to see the stars and debris floating around the ship, as well as a big part of the planet. So let me tell you guys a funny story. If you haven't realized it yet from how much I'm sucking its virtual dick, Dead Space is one of my favorite games, and also one of the first games I've ever played. And having favorite things is great, but it comes with problems. What if you come back to them a bit later in life and you realize that you don't like them as much? The disappointment of not understanding why you like that something so much when you were a kid can be pretty heartbreaking for some people. Coming back to this game to make this video obligated me to take that risk. But I'm happy to say that this game actually aged like fine wine. For the most part.
Bruh.
The lighting and effects made this game look really good, even for today's standards, and a good part of it can be attributed to the fact that, well, it's a horror game. It's optimal for everything to be dark, and the creators not only know this, but also play on it really well by barely having any bright places throughout the whole game. They didn't have the money or technology at the time to make those places look appealing, and honestly, it just wasn't needed. The game looks perfect with darkness and slightly lit areas, and it knows it. I am sure that there's people out there that are genuinely surprised to know that this game is 12 years old by the time of making this video. Your health bar is pretty shitty though, like it literally looks like someone just glued a glow stick to your back. Anyway, you get to the captain's nest and have a talk with Hammond about where to go next.
Isaac. Damn, you scared me. The place is making me jumpy. Fucking asteroids coming through the roof. Look, I know Kendra doesn't trust me, but I don't know anything about a marker or anything else. This is supposed to be a repair mission. Plain and simple. This mess is the asteroid defense system. I can fix these boards when the main power routing is shot. You're gonna have to reroute them manually through at least 3 junction boxes to activate the primary cannon. Oh, but first, you need to activate the atrium elevators from bridge security. You can use them to get to the junction boxes. By the way, Isaac, be careful. I saw something out there, I don't know what. I only got a glimpse. But it was big. Really big.
You can't really tell if he's telling the truth or not about the marker, but you don't have much of a choice, so to the junction boxes you go. However, as you leave, you spot a necromorph inside one of the injection pods, and Hammond somehow sees this as well and disposes of it.
I'm back. Oh, that one was dead when I sealed the pod. These things don't die easily.
This scene seems really random for me to show you, but you're just gonna have to trust me when I tell you that it's not as insignificant as it seems. Now you can finally make your way to the junction boxes and... Great! This game really doesn't give you a break, does it? Okay then, let's dance, fucker. Okay, now that that's over with, what the fuck was that exactly? Well, that was the Brute, a mini-boss that appears a couple of times during your playthrough of the game and can be a decent challenge if you don't know what you're doing. They charge at you and do a decent amount of damage, as well as having a weak point on their back and the connection between their arms and body. So be sure to keep your distance and aim for that yellow when you have the chance. Besides that, just remember that you can use your stasis on the big boy. Okay, now that we clear that up, we can finally make our way to the junction boxes. But not before the game hits you with...
Isaac, make us whole again.
Yeah, Isaac's losing his mind. The game ironically also plays with your mind really well here. It's by this point that you start questioning if anything you've heard and seen from Nicole until now has been real or not, and that idea stays in the back of your head for the majority of the game. You take an elevator so you can make your way to the junction boxes, and inside it a video log plays and it explains what happened to the captain. Apparently he was diagnosed as insane by a doctor named Terrence, and in the process of stopping him, things didn't go so well.
You'll all be tried for mutiny. Kind, make them listen to reason. Settle down, then. Hold him. By Maritime Law, Article 5469, I hereby declare Captain Benjamin Mathias unfit for duty. The marker must be delivered to the church. Terrence, please. I'm sorry, Ben, but I can't let you do this. Traitor. Heretic. Hold his head. Murderer! Hold him.
Dead.
No, it was an accident. I had to stop him.
Arrest the doctor.
Reaching the basement, you find a tiny labyrinth with a more closed and empty feel to it. Luckily, the Juggernaut comes for revenge like a Shadow of Mordor captain to change that.
I'm the Juggernaut!
After dealing with him, you reroute the first box that's connected to the ship system, hug some necromorphs, and get back to the elevator to reroute the second box. In the meantime, Kendra has some information to tell you. Apparently, this alien race invading the ship can use multiple bodies to not only create a bigger and more deadlier creature, but to also create a suitable habitat for themselves.
Isaac, listen up. I've gone over the MedSci reports. These things are biorecombinators. They take dead tissue, absorb it, and mold it into new forms. One iteration seems to have the sole purpose of infecting corpses. The others, well, seem to be making corpses to infect. And that body tissue we keep seeing on the walls is part of it too. I found a report that says it's a habitat changer.
So the Infector and the Brute are actually dead humans that were molded and shaped into their current form. And the flesh you were walking on before is actually the bodies of the passengers and necromorphs molded together in a way so that the necromorphs can live and reproduce inside this ship and therefore make it their home. I repeat, these things are using the dead bodies of the passengers to make this gigantic fucking ship their home. So anyway, you make it to the next room and it's a bit more dangerous, with air that kills you if you step on it and infectors that get scared and bolt when you shoot at them. You manage to reroute the second junction box connected to the control system and quickly find the third one minutes later. But something is wrong with the ADS's automatic control, and Hammond tells you that you'll need to control it manually.
But the ADS cannon's auto targeting is down. I think it's a faulty data cable. I need you to aim the cannon manually until I can replace it. Take the elevator to the top of the ship and head for the cannon pit.
You make your way to it, and Hammond warns you that since the debris is not being stopped by the ADS, you have to take cover and slowly make your way to it while you're running out of oxygen.
Isaac, you're going to have to cross the ship exterior to reach the ADS cannon. Problem is, we're still getting bombarded by asteroids. Look for cover, or you'll get torn to pieces.
After getting inside, you hop on a game of Among Us just to get put on crewmate for the 30th time and start doing your tasks. Jokes aside, this part of the game is surprisingly really hard because of the difference in mouse sensitivity. I managed to do it on my second time, but it should not have been as hard as it was. Anyway, after Hammond finally gets the ADS working automatically, he congratulates you and tells you to get back to the tram and finish the chapter.
Nice shooting, Isaac. Auto-targeting is now online and clearing a path to disabled. As soon as we're clear, I'll engage the autopilot again. Head to the tram station. I'll meet you there when I'm done.
But before that, you get met with 3 tentacle-like creatures jumping on you non-stop. One of them even has a head. And as I remembered what this creature does to you if you don't click the E button enough times, I had to let it kill me. Let's talk about the death scenes. I won't make this segment too long because, well, there's not much to say about it. Dead Space didn't do something exactly new, but they sure as hell did something special. These death scenes are insanely brutal and gruesome, but they're also one of the best things in the game. It's reminding you that, although you are a pretty tough engineer with the Juggernaut buff, you are still human. And just like you can turn necromorphs into insignificant pieces of meat, so can they. You make your way back to the atrium and there's an audio about the people on board getting attacked.
Breach, come in. We've been boarded. Repeat, the ship has been boarded. We are under attack. Open fire. How are they? They've already killed most of the deck staff. We need security back up here immediately. Guns are useless. We can't hold them back for very long.
Shortly after that, you get met with a female version of necromorphs while you're trying to shop. To be honest, I thought all the basic necromorphs could be male or female, but it appears not. This necromorph goes by the name of Spitter, because on top of attacking you like a basic necromorph, it can also become a llama and, well, spit on you. Anyway, you make your way to the tram and start chapter 5. Kendra calls you and warns you that the contamination on the ship is getting out of control, and it needs to be taken care of before anything else.
Shit. Isaac, I can smell the contaminated air from here. It's spreading faster than I expected. I'm trying to isolate it, but it's not gonna buy us much time. We have to get that thing off this ship. The chemicals you need are in the chemistry lab. I'll hack the door for you when you get there.
Well, to the chemistry lab you go. This is looking like a simple chapter. You shoot some bad monsters, get the chemicals, and clean the ship.
You can't stand in the way of God's plan, the natural order. Are you blind like the rest?
But then that happens.
Looks like someone has reprogrammed the door locks on this deck. And recently, too. I guess we're not alone here after all. Someone doesn't want you in this part of the ship.
Okay, so on the good side, it seems like there are still alive passengers on the ship. On the bad one, the only guy that you found so far is Dr. Mercer. The guy that you can tell is batshit crazy and does not want you here. Well, I guess it's not that bad. You just have to ignore what he's saying, and I'm sure everything will be... Okay, what the fuck?
Hog.
That is the Wall Guardian, a mini-boss necromorph that has fused with the corruption going on the ship to anchor himself to a wall and make your life a living hell. It spews out balls from his belly that have a tentacle in them that it constantly shoots at you once it's on the ground. Not only is it fucking disgusting, it's also annoying. Having 3 or more of these constantly shoot at you can really be a pain in the ass. Luckily, one shot takes care of them. The Guardian himself is more simple. He has 5 tentacles that also come out of his belly and glue to the wall. You shoot all of them off, the Guardian dies. A really cool thing about this necromorph is that you can actually see an earlier version of it. Remember the guy with only a torso that was also fused to the wall a couple of minutes ago? That's right, that's actually a Wall Guardian in the making. I really like this. It's another addition that really wasn't needed, but it adds so much to the overall realism and horror of the world the game is presenting to you. As you make it to the chemistry lab, you find an audio from Dr. Mercer. Apparently he was testing on live human beings with the dead tissue from the corruption.
Personal log, Dr. Charles Mercer. I now have a live subject for my study. I'm eager to validate my tissue regeneration theory. Initial restraint was problematic, but now the patient's resting comfortably. He trusts me, Dr. Khan. He puts his life in my hands. He knows his part in all of this. Understands what I'm doing. The forehead has been swabbed clean and marked.
What are you doing with that?
I'm now attempting to create a passage to insert the sample
After that, you enter the lab, collect the chemical capsule, and...
Antigen compound
What are you
completed.
doing?
Please remove
Your
the
fight
capsule.
for survival is admirable but pointless. And yet you keep on going. It almost makes me think that we had hope as a species. Am I the only one who sees that we have died out a long time ago? We just haven't accepted it yet. Stop running. Stop your struggle. Our future, your future, the future of our race ends here. Allow me to introduce you to humanity's child, the children that will replace us. Our greatest creation.
Wait, this is just a chunkier normal necromorph, right? Let me just take those out, and that too. Okay, we're good to go. How do you get out of here? Oh, fuck. Everyone, meet the Hunter. A necromorph, if you can call it that, which has somehow been modified by Dr. Mercer to somehow be able to regenerate his limbs. Now, how do you take care of this thing? You don't.
You can't kill it, Isaac. It's just gonna keep regenerating. Get out of there, run!
As you manage to get away, Hammond starts calling you. Apparently he's made it to hydroponics, but the organic matter is growing and infecting everything on board. On top of that, you also have to find a DNA sample of this corruption.
One there. Repeat. Come in, Isaac. Kendra, is anyone there?
Hammond, where the hell have you been?
I've reached hydroponics. It's bad down here. Really bad. Can hardly breathe. The organic matter is growing everywhere. My eyes are stinging. Must be seeing things.
Now you need to find a DNA sample of the growth. According to lab records, there's an inert sample stored in the ICU. Dr. Mercer was apparently doing intensive research on it. I've been trying to contact Hammond, but all I'm getting is static. Isaac, you've got to hurry.
So we gotta make it to Dr. Mercer's office. But first...
Your persistence surprises me. Holding on to your final breath, you claw your way along. You hold on to what was once your world, but now belongs to the children. Be glad of the knowledge that your death will bring their birth. Listen, can you hear it? It's coming. Say your prayers.
Okay, time to waste some bullets.
What a fucking...
Hey, what's up, guys?
After 2 more deaths and 7 full rounds, you make it to Dr. Mercer's office and...
Personnel log, Dr. Chalice Mercer. The specimen continues to respond well to my experiments. Its cellular fortitude, not to mention elasticity, is remarkable. Dr. Kine, I'm sure, would disapprove. But I do not anticipate that issue, as the good doctor is busying himself with the marker. As if that matters now. He has also succumbed to the same dementia that afflicted the colony. Only yesterday he told me he had spoken to his wife. But Amelia Kine has been dead for some years. My subject grows restless. Patience. Your time is soon. Very soon.
The best way to describe this room is creepy. It presents a very different vibe than every other corpse-filled room you've been in so far, and manages to tell us just how insane Dr. Chalice Mercer is with just the things inside of it. The heads, the audio log, the papers, and the writing on the walls, it all works really well at telling a story of a man who's lost his mind without any flashbacks or exposition dumps. You pick up the DNA sample and Kendra calls you to give you your last location. Or so you thought.
That's it, Isaac. Now you just need to...
This has gone far enough. Accept your part in the God's plan. Embrace your own extinction.
Warning. Life support system failure on medical
What the hell was
Please
that?
evacuate immediately.
Isaac, he's decompressed the entire deck, and I'm being locked out of those systems. All the air has been vented into space. You should be able to bring it back online from the security station, but you don't have much time.
After restoring the oxygen, Kendra tells you to go back to the chemistry lab so you can complete the poison. She also warns you that the thing infecting the air system is something by the name of Leviathan.
You've got everything you need to make the poison. Now get back to the chemistry lab.
What are you going to do? Do it fast. Can I be breathing?
You're cutting out, Hammond. I'm gonna try to switch over. Shit. I lost the signal. I'll continue scanning for his location. You have to get that compound mix. I've got more intel on the atmosphere. A survivor's report says a massive creature entered the hydroponics deck from outside the ship. That's when the air quality began degrading. The survivor called it Leviathan.
You make your way back to the chemical lab and finish making the poison.
Let's hope that poison works. Head back to the tram station and get up to hydroponics as fast as you can. Still no response from Hammond, so be careful. There's no telling how contaminated that deck is.
I'm beginning to truly admire your spirit.
misplaced as it may be, I think you should see the whole plan. You should not spurn the hive mind's offerings. You deserve to witness that, at least.
Yeah, sure. What are you gonna do? Lock me in a room with that necromorph that can't die and his buddies?
Perhaps now you will understand. The work I have done must continue. Will continue. I, Dr. Charles Mercer, shall serve as the catalyst to the salvation of our species. These specimens will return to Earth with me. I will spread their divine glory across the entire planet. I will leave you with my creation. Embrace the inevitable.
Okay then, why the fuck do I talk? So this is actually a pretty cool boss fight from back in the days where you actually had to figure out what to do instead of the game telling you right away. Apparently, you can go inside the room where Mercer was just in and activate a compartment in the middle of the other room that freezes anything in it. So it's pretty simple from there. Cut the hunter up, slow his regeneration with a stasis module, and turn him into an ice cube.
Freezing cycle successful. Transporting patient.
Roll the green screen GTA mission accomplished.
That's so funny.
Let's just hope that's the last we see of that thing. I've managed to override Mercer's lockdown. There's a secondary tram station nearby and you can take it to hydroponics. Let's just hope there's enough time.
So as chapter 6 starts, you don't get a video call from Hammond or Kendra, but instead you get an audio log from the person Jason Temple was looking for. A doctor by the name of Elizabeth, who's annoyed at the fact that they are not allowed to feed the people in the colony.
Hydroponics log, Dr. Elizabeth Cross reporting. I'm pleased to say that we're working close to maximum capacity at the present time. All flora is healthy and thriving, and food yield has created a surplus. I was going to pass the surplus on to the colony, but the captain has given a no-fly order. I want to note my opposition to that order. Everyone knows they're in trouble down there, and I don't see what denying them our surplus will achieve.
This audio not only reveals that a lot of passengers on board weren't aware of what's going on, but it's also a great build-up for what's to come, and it all revolves around one thing: food. This part of the ship is where they were growing their crops. This is another really cool section in the game that just makes you think, oh yeah, humans need food to survive. Shortly after that, you also find Hammond, but he doesn't seem to be doing very well.
Isaac. Good to see you in one piece. Don't take your helmet off. The air's rotten. I gotta look at it. It's huge. You won't believe it. Shut itself in food storage. Crew that was on this deck, I think they're what's poisoning the air. They've been transformed. I saw one of them. Bloated, swollen. They're like poison factories. We need to take them out where we can still breathe.
Hammond! I thought you were dead. You need to get to cleaner air. You're not going to be able to help Isaac in your condition. Isaac, I'm scanning the area now. He's right, there's something really big in food storage. But I can't get a good scan. Monitor readings are off the scale. Be careful.
Really nice detail there, Visceral. Showing the video from Kendra in Hammond's perspective since the call was to him and not Isaac. A+. You will be rewarded with insane deadlines for your future games, as well as an insane profit margin for your third game in this trilogy. That will lead to your inevitable downfall. So it seems like the necromorphs Hammond was talking about are scattered around 2 growth chambers, and you can't enter food storage until you take care of them.
That's the door to food storage. But I can't override the integrity lockdown. You have to destroy the pods to bring the air quality up. Then you can go through and use the poison on the Leviathan.
As soon as you enter the first chamber, you realize that it's nothing like anything you've seen so far on this ship. There's vegetation everywhere, along with more fruit plantations, and it all gives a much calmer and overall healthier vibe and aesthetic. It almost feels wrong in a way. There's also birds chirping. Somehow. Anyway, after clearing the chamber of unwanted passengers, you investigate the room and find this thing, the Weezer, a necromorph that doesn't attack you in any way besides slowly stealing your oxygen. Taking a closer look at it, the creature seems to be in immense pain, and its lungs appear to be backwards and expanding with every breath it takes. The creature also seems to be coughing the toxic air that is infecting the Ishimura. Or maybe just choked while laughing at a very loud equals funny meme. Anyway, it needs to die. One down, 5 to go. Hi there, Editing Traiku here. Fun fact, there was actually 8 Weezers, but the file of me killing them got corrupted, so just imagine there was only 6, okay? Okay, sorry for that little interruption. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, okay, bye! I tried to blow this one up, but he had blast immunity like the Leaper a couple of minutes ago. As you make your way to the third Weezer, you enter this wide corridor and there's someone waiting for you. That's the Exploder, the very definition of a suicide bomber. He's very skinny, unlike most of the enemies you've fought so far, and his arm seems to be attached to a yellow sack. What does that sack do? It explodes. They're actually one of the easiest necromorphs to deal with, since one shot in their yellow sack will instantly kill them. But you can also shoot his arm and use the sack as an explosive to kill multiple necromorphs. Just be careful not to get too close to him. Also, I know I've sucked this game off about its audio already, but just listen to the sounds the Exploder and the Weezer make. It's absolutely terrifying, and I love it. You reach the next Weezer and Nicole seems to contact you again.
Isaac, make us whole again.
At this point, you've pretty much embodied the whole thing of I'm slowly going insane, so I just ignored it and made this guy whole. Please fucking kill me. The next Weezer is in the filtration tubes, who are being spewed with fire every few seconds, so you gotta maneuver carefully to avoid getting burned to a crisp. You also get to listen to another audio log from Dr. Elizabeth.
Hello? Hello, security? Thank God. This is Dr. Cross in hydroponics. I'm trying to locate second engineer Jacob Temple. I can't get through to engineering. Of course I know there's a ship-wide medical alert. That's why I'm trying to locate him. No, we're safe for now, but the tram is down and we can't reach the escape pod. Hello? Hello?
You take care of the Weezer and make your way to the second growth chamber. As soon as you enter, you can tell it's not even close to what the first one was like. All the vegetation is either gone or dead. Any fruits that were looking perfectly fit to be collected and eaten in the other chamber are completely not existent in this one. The walls also seem to be infected with a corruption, spewing liquids when you get close to it. Adding to all of this, there's a brute charging at you from a distance.
I'm back.
Fuck off then, yeah? All of this is with the objective of showing the player just how destructive this whole infection thing is. Not only to humans, but life itself as well. While looking for the next Weezer, you can find another audio log from Elizabeth, and she seems like she finally found out what's going on.
Dr. Cross reporting. Something huge just slammed into the hull near food storage. It wasn't a rogue asteroid. I know what that sounds like. But it was big and heavy. I'll report again when I know more.
You kill the fourth and fifth Weezer, and shortly after you open a door to find yourself in... Oh look, a semiconductor! Did I scare you? Cause if I'm being honest, I kinda jumped from my chair a bit when this happened. It really surprises me how this game is the only one in the trilogy that still manages to scare me in one way or another. After killing the tentacle, you find another audio log. This time, it's from Temple. It seems like his search for Elizabeth isn't really working out.
This is Temple, acting chief engineer. I came down here to find Dr. Elizabeth Cross, but she's not here. In fact, I can't find anyone, just more of this organic shit everywhere. I'm going to check the mining deck. It's about the only place I haven't looked yet.
You fly around the organic shit looking for the last Weezer, and after killing it, you make your way back to restore the air system and come across this. This is awesome. Giving the most dedicated and interested people in your game some replayability and Easter eggs is always really cool to see. And I think I speak for everyone here that creating a full alphabet and a numeric system so you can actually understand what the writing on the walls mean for both this game and the sequels is one of the best ways to do so. As you make your way to the panel, Nicole talks to you again, but this time it seems different.
Isaac, where are you? Help me.
She isn't telling you to make her or anyone whole, and her voice seems to have some actual emotion to it. On top of that, she isn't appearing in a screen, but instead talking to you via audio log. So far, every time we've seen her, with the exception of 2 recordings, has been through a supposedly broken screen, with her saying the same line like a broken record. But with the audio logs, it's different. She actually talks like a human being and says more than 3 words. At this moment, something like this can go unnoticed, but it's a small detail that can make the player confused on whether Nicole is actually alive or not. You lift the lockdown and are finally able to face the Leviathan. There's a corridor with the corruption filling the outside of it, and an audio log can be found midway. It's from Elizabeth. She's shocked and terrified about what has happened with hydroponics, and she decided to make her way to the mining deck, just like Temple.
Hydroponics log, this is Dr. Cross. It's hard for me to believe what I'm seeing here. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to the mining deck. I hear that's where survivors are gathering. Jacob, I'll wait for you there.
You use the poison on the food storage, but it doesn't seem to fully work.
Damn it. The poison wasn't strong enough. It's still alive. Get in there and kill it before it contaminates the entire ship.
Well, I guess it's all on you now. I'll let this scene play for itself.
Entering zero gravity.
It was my time to tear down the kingdom, call out the liars. Got a jail on my heart from the pessimist. Got those nails in my mouth for impressionists. Spent too much money on a therapist. It couldn't fix me, I accepted it. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiator. Picked a fight with the gods, I'm the giant slayer. Bone shaker, dominator. Freight train wrecking ball, I'm the gladiator.
Isaac, you did it. Hammond, do you read? Oxygen levels are returning to normal. Damn it. He's gone again. No sign of his rig anywhere. It's up to us now. I've got a plan to get off this ship. I've located an SOS beacon on the mining deck. If you can get down there and activate it, we might be able to send a distress call. Oh god. I don't know how much longer that door will hold.
Guess it's time for more engineering work. You make your way back to the tram and start chapter 7.
This may be our last chance of getting out of here alive, Isaac. There's an asteroid loaded up in the mining bay waiting to be smelted. If you attach the SOS beacon to it, you can launch it away from the ship to make a clean broadcast. The beacon's on the maintenance subdeck. You can launch the asteroid from the control room. Damn, the control room is locked. It looks like they keep an emergency access key on the processing subdeck. Couldn't be easy, could it? I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Well, it seems like you've got some work to do. As you make your way to the elevator...
Canister.
Kendra warns you that the mining segment isn't accessible at the moment, so you're gonna have to clear some boulders and get the beacon while she tries to get it open.
The mining subdeck is offline for some reason, Isaac. I'll see if I can run a bypass.
On your way to the first objective, you find another audio log from Temple. He found Elizabeth, but they can't seem to find a way out of the ship.
This is Temple. I found Elizabeth, but there isn't a single space-worthy vessel in the whole goddamn bay.
Jacob, hurry up! We need to find a beacon.
There's gotta be one around here somewhere.
You make your way to the beacon by disintegrating some rocks and restoring gravity.
Mission failed!
Shortly after that, you meet another early version from the Wall Guardian, followed by the most annoying moment in this game. You enter this elevator that moves as slow as a snail on crack cocaine withdrawal, and then proceed to get shot at by those egg tentacle things from both the right and left side. Now, the reason why this is a bitch to deal with is because you are in a space where you can barely move, and since the sensitivity of your mouse works off the frame rate you're running on, killing 2 tentacles on each side without getting hit while they're chunking 1/4 of your HP every hit is one experience that I hope I never have to go through again. Luckily, what you get to experience after the hell ride is pretty rewarding.
Isaac? Is that really you? It feels like it's been so long. But I can help you now. Come with me.
So it seems like your girlfriend is alive and well, somehow. But hey, she's not the only survivor you've seen or heard about on this ship, so I guess it makes sense. She helps you by opening the door to the storage room where the beacon is, and you have to protect yourself and her for a few minutes while she does so. Her remaining health is showed on her back, just like it is for you, which is a nice little detail that helps reinforce the fact that this isn't just a health bar, but a useful tool in this insane futuristic world they're presenting to you. After banning all of the other scumbags that only want her for her body on Twitch chat, Nicole notices you and says your name as well as I love you, making you bust the fattest nut ever known to Simpmanity.
Okay, the door's unlocked, Isaac. I can't get over to you, but I'll find a way. I love you.
On a serious note, the scene is best described as weird. Nicole talks in a way that just doesn't sound natural when you're supposedly her boyfriend, and it really makes you question if what you're seeing here is even real. It's all very unsettling, and it gets reinforced seconds later when you collect a beacon and Kendra calls you, saying that your signal disappeared during the time you were talking and protecting her.
Isaac. Hey, I lost your signal for a while. You had me worried. I see you've got the beacon, so head for the mining bay and attach it to the asteroid. I've been running trajectory calculations, and if we launch soon, there's a good chance the asteroid can reach a safe distance to begin transmitting. Still no sign of Hammond. In his state, I can't imagine he's still alive.
On the other hand, you've never heard these characters interact before, so maybe this is just how Nicole is. Hell, maybe the writing on her lines and the voice acting is the problem. Wouldn't be the first time.
Who have thought? About what? That a young buck like you could actually do the right thing and avoid getting his sorry butt kicked out the game. Sounds like a wise fella to me.
You make your way to the mining bay by taking the elevator and fighting some necromorphs. When you finally get there, 2 leapers jump at you, but there's something different about them.
Dude! What the fuck?
Now, many people might say that this is just a game making the necromorphs harder instead of adding new ones. And they would probably be right. But let me philosophize for a bit here. Pretty much all of the enemies have been presented already, and at this point you have been in here for long enough and advanced far enough to either start going insane or the necromorphs evolving because of the marker. The creators are trying to tell you that the longer you expose yourself to this artifact, the more difficult your life will be, both mentally and physically. Yes, I do watch PewDiePie's philosophy videos regularly. Thank you for noticing, dear viewer. Oh? Well, yes, I do use this 50-minute video on Play-Doh every night as Ambient. How did you know? So you remove the tethers from the asteroid, place the beacon on it, and launch that bitch into space hoping that someone sees it. After doing so, Kendra calls you. It seems like you're not the only one going insane.
Beacon's on its way. All functions normal and broadcasting wideband. Now we just have to hope somebody's listening. I'll position the array receiver. I thought I saw my brother again. He waved to me, like nothing was wrong. Okay. I should be able to leave this channel open. What? The comms array receiver isn't responding. Isaac, can you get back to the bridge? We need that array online or we can't receive signals from anyone responding to the beacon.
Shortly after getting hugged by a necromorph, you make your way to the tram and start Chapter 8. Kender calls you again to tell you that things are looking up. A ship by the name of Valor already saw your distress call, but you can't talk to them until you fix the communication system.
Things are looking up. A military ship just docked in, the USM Valor. I don't know what it was doing out there. It must have gotten our distress signal. We can't talk to it until the comms array is fixed. I'm gonna hack the door to communications for you. Get in there and find the comms control station.
You make your way back to the atrium and, after greeting exploders and finding a bugged wall guardian, you enter this hallway. Yeah, we're still presenting new enemies. This is the Divider, a necromorph that isn't really a necromorph at all. He's several. Do you remember those cartoon shows where the kids would get on top of each other and wear a big raincoat and a hat to try and get into a cinema room to watch a movie that they were too young for? Well, the Divider is that, except he wants to get into your guts instead of the movie. He doesn't really have any limbs, so you basically just want to get him to fall and split into 4 tentacles that you have to deal with as well. A little bit after that, you encounter an audio log from one of the people working on the communication center who reveals that this whole operation going on with the ship isn't even legal. And even though people were going insane and starting riots, no one called for help because of the captain not wanting to get the information out.
Communications log. First comms operator Bailey reporting. The ship is under attack, but requests to issue a distress call have been repeatedly denied by Captain Matthias. He won't say it, but everyone on the bridge knows why. This is an illegal operation in a prohibited system. We've all known for months, and we kept our mouths shut. Not anymore. Mayday! 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 This is USG Ishimura. This is... What the hell? I don't believe this. The whole comm system is offline. Now he's gone too far. Bailey out.
This audio creates more questions than answers. Did the people in Ishimura knew what was in the planet all along? Did the government knew about the planet as well, and the reason why they made it illegal to mine it was because they wanted to protect people? Only time will tell. So, after taking this big-ass elevator with a pretty shitty jump scare, you reach the communication center and Kendra tells you what to do.
That comms array is in bad shape. We need at least 6 working dishes for a strong enough signal. Make sure they're aligned symmetrically so there are no power gaps.
So you take out these screwed up satellites, put in the functioning ones, and turn that bad boy on. Unfortunately, what happens next will make you regret doing so.
This is USM Valor, widecasting on all frequencies to USG Ishimura in response to your SOS. We've picked up your escape pod, number 47, and are en route to your position. This message will repeat every 30 seconds until you respond.
What? Isn't that the escape pod Hammond jettisoned? One of those things was on board. No! No, this isn't going to happen. USM Valor! Come in, Valor! Your signal isn't strong enough. I'm going to open the blast door and boost the signal.
Error. Blast door blockage detected. Please contact a repair technician.
Shit! Isaac! There's something big on the hull of the ship, directly above the comms array. Something organic. I don't know what it is, and I don't care. We have to get the doors open to transmit to the Valor. You should have a clear shot from ADS Cannon 48. Get to the cannon and blow it out into space.
Remember when I told you to trust me about the pod? Yeah, this is why. The Valor managed to find your SOS, but only after the escape pod with the leaper inside that you saw Hammond send to space a couple of hours ago. You have to contact them, but there's something stopping you from doing so. Well, time to get in the ADS and see what we have cooking up.
Manual override initiated.
Of course. Well, I'm not in the mood to put more hardcore music. Let's try this out.
Kendra Daniels on the USG Ishimura, come in. Do not open the escape pod. USM Valor, this is Kendra Daniels on the USG Ishimura, come in. Do not open the escape pod. Here, respond. Why did they open the pod? Damn it. Oh my god. It's headed right for us.
Well, that was expected.
Wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here.
Isaac. Isaac, are you there? Thank God you're alright. I've been trying to reach you. Someone's been blocking my rig signal remotely. A crash must have interrupted the signal block.
Hammond, where have you been?
Surviving. Barely. I found some med supplies and patched myself up. Listen. I'm calling aboard on the mission. Fuck the CEC and fuck the chain of command. We have to get the hell out of here. I think I've located a shuttle on the crew deck. Flight log says it needs a new singularity core, but we can probably salvage one from the Valor. I can see the tail end of it sticking out from the side of the Ishimura. I'm headed down there now to find a way inside. I'll meet you there. Hammond out.
Isaac, if what he says is true about the shuttle, we might have a chance of getting out of here. Head to the cargo bay and see if you can help Hammond. In his condition, he may not last long.
You make your way back to the tram and start chapter 9. Hammond calls you about some information he found about the Valor.
Isaac! Good, you made it inside. Listen, I just found the munitions log for the Valor. I don't think their presence here is a coincidence. They're not on reconnaissance and they're not on patrol. This ship is prepped for war. They're on a seek and destroy mission. Do you hear me?
Isaac, I've lost him again. No signal from Hammond's rig. Find the singularity core and get the hell out of there.
The Valor isn't here to save you, they're here to kill the necromorphs inside the ship. And it seems like the surprise factor kinda backfired on them. Anyway, you have to get into that ship and pick up the singularity core, so into the Valor you go!
The part you're looking for will be in the engine room at the back of the ship. I'm reading massive damage, so you may need to find an alternate route to get there.
Okay, and insta-regret has been ensued. Damn, Bootleg Sonic is pretty scared of you. How is he even doing that, you might ask? Well...
The infection process is doing something strange to these soldiers. They all have built-in stasis units in their body armor. The infection is merging the stasis unit into their flesh or something, making them move fast. Real fast. Be careful.
So the stasis module, the thing that slows things down, is being merged with the skin of the soldiers inside the ship and somehow reverting the effects to make them move at inhuman speed. Yeah, that makes sense. These are Twitchers, and since all the information about them got revealed already, I don't think I need to say much more. All you have to know is that they're creepy as hell, hit like a truck, and can do this shit.
Hey bitch, what's up? You shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up.
Shortly after dealing with those freaks, you make your way to the core and a familiar face appears.
Clark, I need to speak with you. My name is Terrence Kine, Dr. Kine. Listen to me. There isn't much time. If you really can repair the shuttle, there is a better use for it than just running away. You must understand, the forces at work here are greater than you can imagine. If you leave now, you condemn all humanity. The planet will never stop, never rest unless the marker is returned. Don't you see? The church is wrong. This is all a trap. I've seen it. Please, you must help me.
For those of you that don't remember, this is the doctor that accidentally killed the captain for believing that the marker should come to Earth. He is somehow alive and asking you to not leave, and help him stop the Necromorphs from killing more than just a few thousand people first. Further on, you find a place where the crew keeps their weapons, and a shooting range that you can actually use and get rewards for winning. It has 5 levels, and completing them all gives you some pretty nice rewards, including semiconductors and a power node. It's a pretty nice change of pace while still not making it feel out of place with the game itself. You also find this Valor soldier. Oblivion was made in 2006, so it's my belief that Visceral Games hired some people from Bethesda Studios to make this scene, and only this scene. So after finding what feels like to be the whole ship, you find this text log that says some really interesting stuff. First of all, they call the marker Marker 3A, signifying that the one in the Ishimura could possibly be one in multiple artifacts that are causing the same thing on other parts of the universe. Second, the government seems to know how dangerous this marker is, which reinforces my theory that they knew what the marker was and what it could do. That's why they made it illegal to explore Aegis 7. You make your way to the engine room, and after avoiding being burned to death while destroying some fuse boxes, you manage to get the Singularity Core. And of course, everything goes to shit.
Is that it? You got it? Oh my god! You got it! That's the piece we need. Get to the crew deck.
Isaac! Over here! I've been trying to reach you with my combo down. You got the Singularity Core, that's our ticket out of here. Get that core to the tunnel! Don't wait for me! Oh, fuck me!
Hammond dies in a very typical horror game way. You didn't know him enough to care for him, but in the end you could tell he was just trying to do his best for his crew, and he was just as innocent as you were. So as I stomp this evolved brute with such force that his body actually flies, rest in peace, Hammond. You were the best captain I could have asked for.
I just lost all of Hammond's vitals. Is he dead? Oh god. It's just us now, Isaac.
As the Valor explodes, you run back to the outside, take a huge leap to the Ishimura, and watch the ship that just gave you your ticket to live another day burn to the ground. And with that, Chapter 9 ends, and Chapter 10 starts.
Isaac, I've located the shuttle Hammond found. Shit. No good. That shuttle's brain dead. Someone removed the navigation cards. God knows why. There's 3 of them scattered around the deck. I'm downloading their locations. I can't access the doors from here, so you'll need a crew key. If you can find those parts, I think we can get that shuttle operational again.
So, for some reason, there's 3 navigation cards scattered around and you have to find them. But that doesn't seem to be the only strange thing on this part of the ship. There's human bodies with their heads covered up, writing and blood all over the floor and walls, a mini statue of what this point you believe to be the marker, and Isaac is so deep into this rabbit hole of madness that the once creepy whispers are now calling his name. You find the first navigation card in a basketball court, and after hitting some hoops you discover another text log about exactly what the Unitology is. Apparently they are a rapidly growing religious movement with millions of followers, and they claim 78 billions in stocks from multi-global companies, as well as owning 2 of Earth's largest financial institutions. It started off as a cult and quickly became a respected religion with a simple but interesting backstory. 200 years ago, a professor by the name of Michael Altman exposed the government for hiding not only the marker, but the proof of alien life that came with it from the world. The government obviously denied it, but some people became interested, and the short death of Michael that came after that fueled it even more. So the religion for the most part doesn't seem so bad. It was just a group of people led by a man who believed in alien life and that the government was hiding it from them. But as all religions, people twisted it into something way more dangerous with their insane and murderous ideologies. And as we're about to see, Dr. Mercer is the perfect example of that.
What do you cling to when all must seem so utterly hopeless around you? Dr. Cross was a true believer. She had faith. And now she awaits her transformation. A rebirth. Are you ready to ascend, Mr. Temple? Of course you are. Have no fear. You will play your part soon enough. Witness the conviction of a true believer! They are ready. Take them. Embrace them!
Temple and Elizabeth were alive this whole time. All their audio logs who you thought were telling the story of a couple who either managed to escape or was already dead were instead from two innocent people trying to get out of this ship. And they ended up being killed in front of you by this madman who believes that humans don't belong in this universe anymore and that necromorphs are the future. After collecting the second navigation disc, Dr. Kyne calls you again. He asks you to go talk to him after you've collected all of the navigation discs, and that he has important information about the marker.
Mr. Clark, I really must speak with you. I'm very close to your position, and I know you want to hear what I have to say. I can explain all this. So what happened? When you have the nav cards, I'll let you into the security station. We must talk. Hurry.
As you make your way to the last disc, you get BDSM'd by a tentacle.
Harder, Daddy. What? What?
And shortly after that, you enter this room.
This truth is even more fantastic. On the planet below us, we have found a warrior. God's plan is unfolding and we are its inheritors. We will ascend as we always knew we would. Unitology is truth, and your death is the first phase. Be deterred by the physical methods of transformation. Soon, you will be beyond any physical concerns. You must have faith, fools. This is what we have been searching for all these years. This is what we have been waiting for. Don't listen to them. Come back! Come back! How can you be turning away from the church in this vital hour?
Then you push some bunk beds and enter this room. You pick up the disc and start making your way back, but it seems like Mercer hasn't had enough with you yet.
This time, there will be no escape for you, my friend. You have been most resourceful up until now, but my creation is free, reborn in the fierceness of life itself. Now it's time to play your part.
Well, it seems like Mercer managed to find enough hair dryers to unfreeze this son of a bitch, so it's time to do what I do best with my problems that slowly ruin my life. Ignore them and run away. Hey, I made it!
Excellent work, Mr. Clark. Excellent work. Now, come and meet me in the executive area. The door is unlocked. Be quick.
Isaac, be careful with Dr. Kyne. A lot of what I've discovered so far has come from his records. This man's clearly gone insane. He might be unstable, maybe even violent.
Well, Kendra, if that even is your real name, at this point everyone's going insane, so...
You've made it! Oh, thank God you made it. I've been following your progress. I know you want to repair the executive shuttle and leave this place, but escape is impossible at this point. The shuttle shock point drive is destroyed. No. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. At first, I lost hope. I tried to scuttle the ship, sabotage the systems. But Amelia, she changed things. The church, they think the marker is divine, but they don't know what's happened here, what's been released. Look. Look at this. That is what we found in the core of the planet. Mercer calls it the hive mind. It's the source, controlling the necromorphs telepathically. We were so stupid! But Amelia, she knew it could be stopped by returning the marker to the planet. The marker was containing it within the planet. Return the marker and seal the hive mind. Please. I'm sorry, Amelia. I bear much of the responsibility for this tragedy. Now, I must take responsibility for ending it. Atone for my sins. But you can help me. If you repair the shuttle and bring the marker back on board, we can end this forever.
Despite Kyne being hallucinating what seems to be his wife, he also sounds resentful for what he's done, and explains that despite the church's beliefs, the reason for the necromorphs being here is because of the marker, and to bring things back to normal, you have to fix the ship, get the marker inside of it, and bring it back to the planet. He also shows you a clip of the hive mind, a giant creature that is controlling all of the necromorphs and has awakened when they opened up the planet. So now you have to make it to the shuttle. And that requires you to go through the executive sleep block. But before you enter that, you get to see multiple portraits of the previous captains, which is a nice detail.
Da Vinci? Do it.
When you open the door, it's filled with pregnant necromorphs that, in my opinion, were put there on purpose to indirectly insult the people in higher power of this ship, by calling them fat. You know, kinda like that movie WALL-E. After making it to the shuttle and inserting the navigation disc inside, Dr. Kyne tells you to wait for him.
Excellent. Wait there for me, I'm on my way.
So you go to test the engine while you wait, and... well, the hunter's back, and there's some twitches on the side as well. There doesn't seem to be a way out, but there is a functioning engine in the room, so you have to face them head on once again. Let's analyze. Remove both of the hunter's feet. While aiming for him to advance into the perfect place to get roasted, 3 twitchers will try to circle me while the hunter regenerates. I'm also low on ammo and need to reload. Clever, but not clever enough. I sacrifice getting hit for a full reload and I'm now standing in a position to clear all of the enemies. As I unload my bullets, the hunter will approach me at the same time the last surviving twitcher crawls with only his arms to take out my remaining health. A combined attack. They're desperate, but I can anticipate it. I will try to shoot the hunter, but he will sidestep to my right and try to hit me with a quick left jab. Cancel it with a few shots, back away, take his legs off once again and finish the job on the twitcher. The hunter will be moving on only one claw now and try to finish me before I heal. But I've taken enough hits from him. I know how much damage he deals. I can make it. I run past him and sacrifice another hit to the legs, but it's already over. I run to the engine and pop a quick heal while waiting for him to recover and come in my direction. He does. Discombobulate by shooting off a leg. Look him in the eyes for a second when he's dazed on the ground to assert dominance. Shoot off the arms, stasis him to reduce the regeneration time, run to the engine room, and fire it. Summary: skin and bones disintegrated. Physical and mental recovery, non-existent. Victory achieved. After finishing the hunter off, Dr. Kyne conveniently appears and asks you to carry the marker to the flight deck while he brings the shuttle to you.
It works. Yes, this will work. There's still time to make things right. The shuttle needs to be released before launch. The control platform there. I need you to guide the undocking procedure while I start the shuttle's engines. This will make us whole again. Hurry! I'll take the shuttle up to the flight deck where the marker's being held.
I'm en route to the flight deck. Meet me there and we can load the marker on board. Yes, Madeon. Soon we'll take it home.
I don't know if Kyne is crazy or not, but we need that shuttle. Let's keep him on our side. For now.
While you make your way to the flight deck, Mercer has one last final video for you.
Your time has come. No need to be frightened. No reason to fight. Many have gone before us, and now it's time for us to take the voyage together. Transcend death. The future take its course. Join me as I gaze upon the face of God.
Right after this, you actually enter the room where Mercer just let himself get infected. He was a complete madman with not a single inch of visible humanity left. And after everything he's done, the way he goes out is pretty predictable, but still great either way. Plus, you also get to stomp his corpse, so yay. And with that, Chapter 10 ends and Chapter 11 starts.
Mr. Clark, I'm approaching the shuttle hangar. You must find your way to the cargo bay. The marker, it's being stored in there. There's a cargo loading lift there you can use to deliver the marker up to the hangar. Please, you must help me with this. It's the only way.
After taking care of some necromorphs, you make it to the cargo bay and finally get to see the marker for the first time.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Oh my god!
At this point, I wasn't really surprised or shocked at what I was seeing. Personally, I felt like the scene could have been more powerful if there weren't writings and models of the artifact all around the ship. However, I also have to say that the symbols covering this thing make it really cool to look at. It seems to attract necromorphs as well, which is nice. After clearing the room, you send the marker to the hangar bay and make your way to it. Kyne brings the shuttle and informs you that you're gonna have to transport the marker to it manually.
I'm bringing the shuttle down now. The automated loading controls aren't responding. You'll have to shut down gravity in the hangar bay, and then manually bring the marker directly beneath the shuttle.
So you turn on zero gravity, pull the marker a bit, kill some necromorphs, pull the marker again, repeat the process, turn zero gravity off, and once you're done, Kyle invites you to go with him to Aegis 7.
Cargo shipment 782.
It's on board. Please come and join me. Together we can stop this hive mind. We can end this nightmare, at last.
You get to the bridge and make your way to him as he tells you to hurry up. Wait, where's Kendra?
Wait, Amelia, where are you going?
Kyne's death wasn't a powerful one, but a sad and unexpected one for sure. He sought redemption for what he did, and without him, you would have just escaped the Ishimura and left the necromorphs to evolve into creatures that could lead to humanity's demise. You can hear him call out his wife, who, in his eyes, is slowly fading away as he dies. He was insane, but he was a good guy at heart. Kendra, besides being a backstabbing rodent, also dropped a huge plot twist, revealing to you that the text log you read back at the Valor was saying the truth.
Sorry, Isaac. I couldn't let him go through with it. I suppose I should thank you for finding the marker. We even managed without help from the USM Valor. Thank you for helping me find him, by the way. My department's been looking for this place for a long time. See what Kyne didn't know was? It was the government's mess to begin with. This whole planet is one big experiment. The marker? This Divine relic. Made by man. They reverse engineered it a couple of 100 years ago from the real marker, a true alien artifact recovered on Earth. They dug it up, studied it, and they made it their own. Then they brought it to Aegis 7 and activated it. And you've seen the result. The stuff of nightmares. They sealed the system, and no one would have been the wiser. But then the CEC blunders in and starts tearing the planet apart. The experiment was still alive. Kine was right about the hive mind. The marker would contain it, but that doesn't matter now, does it? I have the marker, and this entire system can go to hell. For what it's worth, you did a great job, Isaac. See you around. Or maybe not.
The marker is not unique. It's man-made. The government didn't find this marker and hid it from the world along with the necromorphs. They were the ones to create it from the real marker found on Earth. And the reason why Aegis 7 was an illegal area was because that's the planet they put the fake marker in when they saw the effects it had when they activated it. Everything you've seen and fought so far is not an alien race. It's a failed experiment. But that's not the only thing you notice about Kendra. Going back, there's a lot of things said that can easily slip by, but once you think about it for a bit, it makes a lot of sense. For example, Hammond. Kendra and him have a couple of fights in the first hour of the game, and shortly after that, she calls him out for knowing about the marker and not saying anything, even though she knew everything about it, and Hammond knew close to nothing.
When were you going to tell us about the artifact, Hammond? This marker?
I don't know anything about that. It's referenced in the captain's records. They brought it up from the planet.
It's on the ship?
In cargo. They think it's of alien origin, but I don't know what the hell it is.
Really? CEC didn't know anything about it. You're lying.
Back up! I am not the bad guy here.
Then, he doesn't contact you for a long ass time until the hunter appears.
One there. Repeat. Come in, Isaac. Kendra, is anyone there?
And then he disappears again until the Valor crashes into the Ishimura, which, in Hammond's words, interrupted a signal block.
I've been trying to reach you. Someone's been blocking my rig signal remotely. A crash must have interrupted the signal block.
And right after that, he gets cut off again while talking about the Valor, a ship that Kendra seemed like she was working with.
They're not on reconnaissance and they're not on patrol. This ship is prepped for war. They're on a seek and destroy mission. Do you hear me?
Isaac, I've lost him again.
Isaac, over here. I've been trying to reach you with my phone.
Now, it is true that Mercer could be the one doing this. We've seen him interrupt Kendra's call and hack some parts of the ship. But Mercer never mentions Hammond. And on top of being the type of guy to say everything he's gonna do before he does it, like he's some anime villain, if he was the one doing it, why didn't he block Kendra's communication as well? It doesn't make sense. She was planning this from the start, and you played right into her every move. Now Kendra has the marker, Hammond's dead, Kine is dead, and there's no way out of this ship. But it seems like there's still one person who can help you out.
Isaac, Nicole, I need you to help me. Help us. Now. I'm in the flight control room. Please, Isaac, hurry. Please. I love you.
You make your way to the flight control room, and you can finally reunite with Nicole.
Isaac? Is that really you? I never thought we'd be together again. God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. I never wanted to hurt you. You need to get it back now, Isaac. You can pilot the shuttle remotely from here. Make us whole again. Make us whole again.
You manage to return the shuttle back to the hangar bay, but Kendra escapes in one of the pods.
Isaac, what the hell are you doing? You're making a big mistake. This is not over.
Escape pod away, crew shuttle USG-09. Repeat, shuttle has ejected escape pod.
It doesn't matter. She can't escape her fate. None of us can. Here it comes. I'll reprogram the shuttle so we can fly down to the colony. We're so close, Isaac. Now go! Get on the shuttle. I'll meet you there.
Shortly after that, you make it to the shuttle, for real this time, and for the first time since the start of the game, we get another cutscene.
You're doing the right thing, Isaac. We're together now. The way it always should have been. I knew you'd come back for me. Nothing can stop us now.
And with that, chapter 11 ends, and the last chapter starts.
Isaac, use one of the loaders to get the marker off the shuttle.
The planet is absolutely beautiful. Not because of the colors or the graphics, but single-handedly because of this view. You can see multiple stations just like your own positioned hundreds of miles away and creating a circle around a gigantic piece of the planet they extracted and levitated using the tethers from the stations. Also, after being inside two ships in the vacuum of space for hours, it's just a great feeling to finally breathe some fresh air. Even though you're still with your helmet on. You take the marker out of the shuttle and start pushing it a bit before entering a building with an audio log giving you an idea of what was happening on the planet after they took away the marker.
This is Sergeant Newman, PSEC. We've lost all the shuttles. One of them just took off and came straight back down and crashed into the bay. Took a couple of hundred people and all the remaining shuttles with it. If anyone can hear this, do not land. Do not land.
You then make it inside the next building, and your objective is to bring the marker to the excavation site, which is on the other side of the station, by the way. So after a lot of pulling, bridge opening, and fighting evolved necromorphs on top of evolved necromorphs, on top of guardians, on top of evolved brutes, you finally make it to the other side.
That's a big boy.
After killing some tentacles blocking your way, you place the marker back where it belongs, and Nicole appears again to thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Isaac. I always believed in you. I knew you'd return to me. We are whole again, Isaac. We are whole.
Emergency. Geo-orbital gravity tethers offline. Tectonic load released. Impact imminent. Evacuate this area immediately.
By bringing the marker back, you've deactivated all of the tethers that were holding part of the planet in the air. And now, it's about to crash into Aegis 7, and you have to get the hell out of here. But as you do that, it seems like someone still isn't done with you.
Isaac, you really didn't think I was just gonna walk away, did you? I can't do that. The marker's coming with me. It's a shame. I was starting to like you. Even if you are insane. What, you don't believe me? Take a look at yourself. Better yet, take a look at the video from Nicole. And this time, watch it right to the end.
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. It's strange. Such a little thing. And it all comes down to this one little thing. I didn't want it to end like this. I really wanted to see you again. just once. I loved you. I always loved you.
Just like Kai, just like the captain. Nicole has been dead this whole time. Whatever you were seeing was caused by that. You are its pawn. But don't worry. It will be in good hands now. Far away from this damn place. Goodbye, Isaac.
So, I'm gonna be honest here for a second. I am actually very conflicted about this scene. On one hand, I think they hinted at this too much and too hard for it to have any impact. Kendra having a dead brother and telling you about it, Nicole's way of talking and constant appearing and disappearing, they're all moments that just make you think, yeah, this can't be real. I think that all of the foreshadowing was too much and it should have been done in another way. Back in the flight room, where you meet Nicole for the second time, you can see all of the screens you get close to lighting up with the symbols of the marker. And I think that would have been a really cool hint on itself. If they only had that part and took out everything else, I think that this moment would have hit way harder. But on the other hand, seeing Isaac actually display an emotion, something he hasn't done since the start of the game, is really cool, but also sad. The man has gone through so much. And even though the player could tell Isaac was losing his mind, Isaac himself couldn't. After all, he's just an engineer in search of his girlfriend. And love can make you believe and do stupid things. Anyway, after Kendra stops you from saving humanity for the second time now, as well as sending you into an intense existential crisis,
the Oscar goes to...
You've decided you've had enough of her shit and make your way to the shuttle to meet up with her and give her a piece of your now free simp mind. However, it seems like you're not the only one that didn't want her to leave.
Oh my god!
Well, here you are. You've lost your crew members, your friends, your girlfriend, and you've lost your mind. You witnessed the slaughter of thousands of people and went through hell and back just to get here. And there might be nothing and no one waiting for you at the end. But you'll be damned if you're giving up now. It's time to turn on the music and finish this. Bring it on, you asshole-looking fuck! You can't have us.
Yes, I will see you through the smoking flames on the front lines of war. And I will stand my ground until the end, till we conquer them all. So I will fight my battle till I fall, and I conquer them all.
And with that, it's finally over. There's nothing left to do. You can finally sit down, take off your helmet, and take a deep breath. The realization of everything that has happened is slowly settling in, and both you and Isaac know you won't be the same person after this. But as Nicole's video plays once more, you turn the other way, and you finally come to terms with the fact that she's not coming back. Or so you thought.
And if you choose the $30 subscription, you get...
Silence, wench. I do not wish to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy.